The rising global population threatens food security, as the increased demand for food puts pressure on our agricultural resources and production systems. This increased demand intensifies problems like land degradation, water scarcity, climate change, and competition for arable land, making it harder to provide nutritious food for everyone, especially in areas already experiencing food insecurity. Focusing on innovative technologies and sustainable agricultural practices, these challenges can become valuable opportunities that can drive economic growth and technological advancement. Research for Development, or R4D, plays a pivotal role in addressing the challenge of food security. In the Philippines, an organization is emphasizing the transformative power of technology to drive the sector towards its optimal potential through Research for Development, or R4D. The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, or DA-BAR, supported by various executive orders and Republic Act 8435, also known as Agri-Fisheries Modernization Act, or AFMA. DA-BAR is mandated to ensure that all agricultural research is coordinated and undertaken for maximum utility to agriculture. DA-BAR coordinates, integrates, funds and manages the R4D system in the country to optimize its use for the sector. It is envisioned to be the lead R4D coordinating agency, promoting a technology-empowered agriculture and fisheries sector that contributes to inclusive growth. To ensure that research leads to desired results and long-term impacts, DA-BAR follows the R4D Impact Pathway Framework. It assists DA-BAR in planning, monitoring, and evaluating the effectiveness of R4D projects under rice, corn and cassava, livestock and poultry, fisheries and aquaculture, organic agriculture, climate change, biotechnology, support to technology commercialization, agri-fisheries technology business incubation, and scale-up, thereby connecting research outputs to outcomes and societal impact, aligning efforts with industry goals, and generating meaningful, measurable change. It is DA-BAR's responsibility to ensure that suitable technologies and interventions are promptly accessible for the sector's utilization. However, DA-BAR cannot accomplish this alone. It needs capable partners in cascading these R4D outputs and outcomes that will advance technology-driven agriculture and fishery sector. Collaboration is the backbone of research, and seamless integration of interdisciplinary expertise and resources is crucial for achieving common goals. By partnering with DA-BAR, we attain greater productivity in a cost-effective manner. Like the age-old adage, the sum is greater than its parts. Here at DA-BAR, we firmly believe that the power of collaboration has the potential to unleash a magnitude of possibilities beyond measure. We offer funding opportunities that can substantially improve the effectiveness and breadth of research endeavors. We facilitate networks and linkages to enhance opportunities to leverage expertise and resources. And more significantly, we serve as a hub for invaluable knowledge exchange, harnessing emerging and innovative technologies to tackle pressing sectoral challenges and global issues.
Ayan, isang magandang araw po sa inyo viewers, R4D partners, lalo tigit po sa ating pong mga magsasaka at mangingisda at sa lahat po ng viewers na itong ating pong online seminar. Perhaps a special online seminar kung saan itatampok po natin ang mga napapanahong teknolohiya at resulta ng mga pananaliksik upang matulungan po ang sektor ng agrikultura. By the way, just like what I've said, this is a special online seminar which is co-organized by our dear partners from the Advocates of Research and Innovation in Agriculture or ARIA. Ako po si Jello from the ABAR's Knowledge Management and Information Systems Division at samahan po ninyo kami sa isang exciting na paksa ngayong umaga. Ayan, bago ko po ipakilala ang ating mahusay na resource speaker and R4D partner, nais ko po munang imbitahan ng lahat ng ating mga viewers na mag-fill out po ng attendance form sa pamamagitan ng link na makikita po ninyo sa ating comment section. Ayan, so we have been receiving greetings din po from our viewers and R4D partners all around the country. Good morning po. Bati from Reka Castor, good morning po. Pag nag-send po kayo ng greeting, you can also include your location para ma-shout out naman natin yung lugar po ninyo or institution or agency po. Ayan, another greeting from Ma'am Lites Gamboa Galang. Maayong buntag sa tanan. Okay. So by the way, happy National Rice Awareness and National Organic Agriculture Month po sa ating lahat. Ayun, so napanapanabik po ang ating pag-uusapan ngayong umaga dahil sobrang napapanahon ang iba't ibang breeding techniques. Narinig na po natin siguro yung breeding techniques para makapagtanim or makapag-produce ng magagandang crop varieties. Iyon bang pwedeng resilient siguro sa iba't ibang environmental stresses or conditions? O di naman kaya ay hindi mabilis tamaan ng peste o ng iba't ibang diseases. Tapos baka posible rin yung mataas ang yield. Pero higit sa lahat, hindi po ba mas nakaka-excite iyong ideya na maari palang mapabilis ang proseso ng plant breeding? So without further ado, let me introduce to you our resource speaker for this special online seminar. Our resource speaker is the former Center Director of the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture or CIRGA. A distinguished academician and leader, he earned his doctoral degree in genetics, Master of Science in Plant Breeding, and Bachelor of Science in Agriculture from the UPLB. His career spans nearly 3 decades at the International Rice Research Institute, where he rose through the ranks as a researcher, postdoctoral fellow, scientist, senior scientist, and deputy division head of the IRIS Plant Breeding, Genetics, and Biotechnology Division. Renowned for his expertise in rice breeding for saline-prone and different problems, his global contribution continued as a crop breeding manager for corn at East West Seed Company. An accomplished academician, he was a professor and now an adjunct professor at the UPLB, also at CMU and LSPU. He co-founded Binhi Incorporated, agri-research startup. His trailblazing work has earned him numerous accolades, including being named among the world's top 2% researchers. Other honors include the 10 Outstanding Young Scientist Award at age 16, Outstanding Young Scientist, and recognition as one of the outstanding young men of the Philippines. Internationally celebrated, he has received the Ho Chi Minh Medal for his contributions in agriculture in Vietnam, an honorary fellow distinction from the Crop Science Society of the Philippines, and the honorary Foreign Scientist Award from the Korea's Rural Development Administration. His commitment to excellence has been recognized with the most distinguished alumnus award in UPLB, UP System, and CMU, then awarded as the Outstanding Professional of the Year in Agriculture from the Professional Regulations Commission in 2024. A visionary leader, he continues to champion sustainable agriculture and transformative innovation for the Southeast Asia and even beyond. Viewers and R4D partners, please join me in welcoming our resource speaker and R4D partner for this special seminar. Please welcome Dr. Glenn V. Gregorio. Magandang araw, Dr. Glenn.
Thank you very much, Jello, and good morning to everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Call Out sa DEBAR. Thank you for this initiative. Hello, can you hear me now, Jello? Okay.
Yes po, Doc. Opo.
Change lang tayo.
Ayan, sir,
Okay.
it's a privilege to have you here po sa aming special online seminar. Of course, in partnership with the ARIA. Siguro, sir, marami pong nakaabang dahil yung pong ibabahagi mong paksa ay talagang exciting para sa mga researchers, even with our farmer cooperatives and associations. Kaya hindi ko na po pakakatagalin pa, sir. The virtual floor is all yours. Take it away, Doc Len.
Yeah, thank you, Jello, and good morning again sa lahat ang ating mga kasamang farmer. Ako rin po ay isang farmer. I have a farm in Luzon, Mindanao, sa Bicol, so I could feel what you are feeling right now. I'm also starting a business in agriculture, which I'll be mentioning later. And now, ang ating topic, napaka tugma, pero mahirap explain, kaya I'll try to lemonize it at ibibigay ko sa inyo ang honest opinion and ano ang advantage nito at ano ang paghandaan natin na wag tayo masyadong I may say, wag masyadong umasa pero may pag-asa. Okay? So what I'll be talking is fast track breeding, accelerating crop improvement through speed breeding. Ngayon kasi tawag nila is speed breeding. Pag sinabi mong speed breeding, pwedeng sabihin yan smart breeding, ang iba sabi quick breeding, ang iba ay rapid breeding, precision breeding, fast track breeding. So lahat yan iisa. Rapid generation advance, rapido, mabilisan. Kaya sa panahon ngayon, mabilisan eh. Pero dahan-dahan din tayo, baka madulas tayo. Kaya sabi nga nila, if you travel alone, you could go faster. But if you travel with your friends, you could go far. So dapat may balance tayo doon. Okay? Fast breeding, speed breeding. Ano ba talaga itong sinasabi nilang speed breeding? Kasi yung traditional breeding natin ngayon ay hindi na kaya. Kasi grabe ang climate change, grabe ng change ng market. Araw-araw nagbabago ang pangangailangan ng tao, nagbabago ang problema. Kung yumayaman naman yung isang bansa o isang lugar, ibang gusto naman niya. Okay? Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Just to introduce myself, again, nasabi na ni Jello kanina, I'm excited to talk about speed breeding because this is very near my heart. Although lately I become a professor and head of Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, which is CIRCA, but my heart is still as a breeder. So I left Erie maybe that's how many years? 9 years ago, but I was there for 29 years as a senior scientist. I'm breeding. I developed more than 26 varieties for coal elevated, for nutritious rice, for saline tolerant rice all over Philippines, Bangladesh, India, Vietnam, and even Africa. So yun ang aking, so I even have a project with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on transformation rice breeding, making rice breeding more efficient using market-driven, product-oriented breeding program. So ang dami nating pag-uusapan dito, kaya I'm here to present it. Next slide. So after Erie, as a rice breeder, anyway, happy rice month daw, sabi ngayon. At nanalo tayo sa isang magandang klaseng rice daw. Second placer tayo sa World Rice Best Rice. Kaya we have to maintain. Next year siguro dapat number 1. May ibibigay tayong variety na number 1. Then after Erie, I joined as a crop breeding manager, global crop breeding manager ng East West Seed Company. So I was there for 3 years. I bred for sweet corn and waxy corn. So I may say I'm playing with colors and sweetness. Yun ang ginagawa ko doon. Next slide. And after crop breeding manager, I joined Circa and a UP professor. Now I finished my term as Circa director. Medyo free ako ngayon. Medyo I'm focusing on my voluntary work as a chairman ng think tank ng Philippine Foresight on Science and Technology Innovation as a member of the National Academy of Science and Technology. At the same time, managing a little bit my farms. So I have 3 farms dito sa Laguna. I have 1 farm in Bicol. I have 2 farms in Mindanao. Hindi ko na sasabihin ang mga detalye, baka ma-agrarian tayo. Anyway, I have this special startup business which naghihingalo but very exciting. This is Binhi Incorporated. So we are talking about technology, especially tissue culture. We're doing tissue culture for faster plant propagation ng especially lakatan, banana, and even coconut. We're starting going obi, purple yam, and potato. So whatever, kahit orchids nandun na kami. So yan ang aking business. So I have experience as a scientist. I have an experience as a farmer and an agripreneur. So medyo alam ko ang mangyayari. What do you mean by speed breeding? Next slide, please. Again, pag sinabi mong speed breeding, paano madaliin? Para bang nagluluto ka ng kanin. Gusto mo bang mabilisan ng kanin? Lakasan mong apoy, may masusunog ka. Hinaan mong apoy, babagal, pero mas masarap. Mas alagang-alaga mo, walang tutong. So ano ang best nun? Paano mo i-compromise nito? Hindi mo pwedeng mabilisan na madadapa tayo. So, ang importante sa plant breeding, sa pag-develop ng variety, ay ano ang genetic gain. Every year, every month, kasi ang breeding ay nagde-develop ka ng isang variety at ilalagay mo yung mga katangiang gusto mo. Okay? Pero paglagay mo ng mga katangian na yan, paano mo pabilisin na hindi mo ma-compromise ang quality? Pwedeng mabilisan pero pangit ang quality. Gusto nyo bang instant? Parang kakain tayo ng pansit. Instant noodle na lang para mabilis. Pero kung gusto mo parang luto ng lola mo, luto ng nanay mo, gagayatin yan. Minsan gagawin pa yung noodles, fresh noodles, tapos ihaing sa iyo na maganda talaga ang soup na may maganda pagluto ng itlog tsaka yung meat tsaka vegetable garnishing niya. Ganun ang kompromiso noon. Kung gusto mong mabilisan ay Lucky Me ka na lang or ano bang may sense dyan na available. So, how do you compromise? So, yun ang compromise. Gusto mo bang too much speed? But you have to look at the quality also. At the same time, the most important is the market. May paglalagyan ka ba ng produkto mo? So, speed breeding plus market intelligence, consumers intelligence, anong gusto ng market, yun ang win breeding. Dapat doon tayo sa win breeding. Win breeding ang pinaka-importante natin. Okay? So, breeding for the win. So, we could shorten the breeding cycle without compromising quality. At the same time, look at the market. In short, magkakapera ka ba dyan? Meron ba tayong papuntahan yan? So, ang genetic gain, ang kailangan natin dyan ay, next slide. Pag sinabi mong genetic gain, ay ano mga factors para mag-increase mo ang genetic gain over time? Una ay selection intensity. Dapat ang pag-select mo masyado kang, kasi marami kayo, nagbe-breed kayo sa ating mga ka-farmer dyan. Pag kami ay nagbe-breed, libu-libong halaman, pinag-aasawa namin yung 2 halaman, tapos libu-libo ang kanyang mga anak na itatanim mo, pipiliin mo ngayon ano ang magaganda doon for the next generation. Kaya dapat marami kang pagpipilian at medyo stricto ka sa pagpipili. Kasi kung sobrang dami na pipiliin mo, maubusan ka ng pera. Dapat Pangalawa ay selection efficiency. Dapat mataas ang selection efficiency mo. Dapat may pang-measure ka ba ng yield, mabilisan. Dapat nasa correct environment siya. Pangalawa ay dapat marami kang pagpipilian, genetic variants. Dapat ang medyo maraming ang mga parents mo or mga pag-aasawahin mo ay marami sila. Hindi yung pwede sa tao, ha? Dapat marami kang pagpipilian, maganda. Yung isa, maganda ang quality. Ang isa ay early maturing. So, ipag-aasawa mo yan at pipiliin mo yung the best combination ng lahat. Kaya yung genetic variants. Tapos, years per cycle. Dito na papasok ang precision breeding. Dito na papasok ang speed breeding. Years per cycle. Dapat ma-decrease natin to. Kasi ang rice, dapat 8 generations. Kung dalawang years ka, kung dalawang cropping ka per year, ibig sabihin 2 years, 2 croppings lang, kailangan mo ng 4 years kasi 6 generation yon. At the same time, para ma-fix ang line. Medyo nagte-technical ako ngayon. Kailangan ng 8 yan. Pag pinili mong isa, next generation, pipiliin mo ulit. Next generation, pipili ka ulit. Next generation, pipili ka ulit. Dapat pag pang 8 na, medyo uniforme na siya. Hindi na siya magbabago. Iisa na yon. Kaya yun ang pipiliin mo, tapos ilalagay mo sa iba-ibang lugar para matest mo kung maganda talaga siya. Ilang years pa yon. Tapos ipag-aaralan mo, titingnan mo ang grain quality niya, titingnan mo ang disease resistance niya, kaya medyo mahaba siya. Kaya maraming businessman at saka maraming magsasaka na iinip sa amin. Kailangan pabilisin nyo nga yan, paypayan mo mabilis. Pero yun ang kailangan. Para bang Miss Universe yan. Talang minsan sa barangay level pa, may mili hanggang provincial level, ay sa municipality level, provincial level, regional level, national level, sinong pinakamaganda, tapos dadalhin mo sa international. Doon na tayo magpapa-contest. Ano muna. Daming preparation yan. Hindi pwedeng huhugot ka lang ng isa. Ito ang ilalagay natin. Okay? So, next slide. Okay. So, for mga breeders, kayong mga researchers, you have to ask this question kung ano ang paraan. Marami kasing paraan paano mapabilis. Kaya depende din yon. Depende sa sasalihan mong contest, depende sa anong trait, depende sa halaman. Okay? Ang unang tanong, ano ang crop mo? Rice ka ba? Corn ka ba? Orchid ka ba? Saging ka ba? O kasaba? So, iba-ibang crops, iba-iba ang breeding method doon. Ang isa, ito ba ay self-pollinated o cross-pollinated? Hindi ko na ang rice ay self-pollinated, ang corn ay cross-pollinated. Medyo magkaiba ang paano mag-develop ng variety na itong dalawa. Okay? Ano ang trait na incorporate mo? Yield ba? Grain quality ba? Pest and disease resistance ba? O kaya abiotic stress tolerance ba? Drought ba? Salinity ba? Or submergence ba? Medyo kaiba pa yon. Tapos sunod, what's gene action to the trait? Aralin mo pa anong gene action ng yield or ng salt tolerance. Ito ba ay dominance, recessive? Ito ba ay additive? Ito ba ay dominance? Medyo komplikado ito. Next is life and breeding cycle. Ano bang breeding cycle? Ilang years ba ito bago mamunga? Rice, 4 months. Corn, mga 4 months din. Pero kung magbe-breed ka naman ng coconut, sige nga. So ilang taon yun bago mamunga. Tapos ipagko-cross mo pa. Kung magbe-breed ka ngayon ng mangga, o magbe-breed ka ng orchid, o magbe-breed ka ng saging, yun, iba naman ang breeding cycle nun. Ang sunod niyan, ploidy level. Ang ploidy level, ilang chromosome sets of chromosome ang halaman mo. Iba pa yung chromosome number, iba pa yung ploidy level. 2N ba siya? 3N ba siya? 2N plus 1 pa ba siya? Polyploid ba siya? Trisomic ba siya? So medyo iba din ang laro mo dito. Stability ng halaman ito ng trait niya. Tapos ano ang facilities mo? Okay? Baka bukid lang meron ka, dapat may laboratory ka ba? Meron ka bang PCR machine? Meron ka bang RT-PCR? Meron ka bang greenhouse? May controlled chamber ka ba? So, yun ang dapat alamin mo. Next, number of crosses per year, target mo. Ilang cross bang gagawin mo? Kasi Pag-asawahin mo lang palay, pag-asawahin mo yan sila para makadevelop ka ng better trait. Mahaba ito. Next, tanong, ano ang budget mo? Diyan tayo magkakataro, depende sa budget mo. Mataas ba ang budget mo? Kaya marami sa mga big companies, mataas ang budget nila kasi mataas ang investment. Alam nila mataas ang market nila. Okay? Kung ikaw ay walang budget, ay mamili ka na lang sa existing variety na yan, pagandahin mo na lang. Next, anong markers available ma? Anong screening protocol mo? Mayroon na ba naaral mo na ba yung genes ng trait na yan, ng yield or ng drought tolerance? At saka may screening protocol ka na ba? Pinakamahirap na screening protocol ay drought. Mahirap maghanap ng drought. Sabi nila, patuyuin mo lang lupa. Tingnan mo kung tumubo. Hindi. Mahirap ito. Labor and land available. The bigger the land, the better. The more diverse the land, the better. Ilang tao ang kailangan mo? Nako, baka dalawa lang kayo. Mahirap ito. Are you using exotic parents? Ginagamitan mo ba yung mga wild relatives? Kasi mas wild sila, mas mahirap i-tame ito. Dapat i-domesticate mo siya. Dapat may pre-breeding ka. Okay? At what's your end variety? Ano bang gusto mong variety? So, dapat may plano ka. Hybrid ba? Isa ba ay composite? Kung ito ay composite or open pollinated or synthetic variety ba or inbred lang siya. Di ba? Ang dami, parang umaayaw na kayo maging plant breeders. Ano? So, maraming tanong bago magsimula. Parang doktor yan, hindi lang, Dok, gamutin mo ako, may sipon ako. Dapat tatanungin niya, kailan ka nagsipon, ilang taon ka, ano, titingnan yung blood chem mo, titingnan ang paano ka ubuhin, tapos tititest stethoscope dyan, stethoscope dito, kukunan ng pulse rate mo, lahat yan bago makapag-decide. Okay? Next slide. Okay, so ito yung secret namin sa mga breeders to develop a desirable commercial variety products. You have to look at good breeder. Dapat ang breeder ay magaling. Magandang leader, dapat may team kayo ng breeders dyan. May team kayo ng hindi lang breeder, dapat nandun siya sa isang team. May plant pathologist ka, may physiologist ka, may economist ka, mayroon kang statistician. Yun ang kailangan mo doon sa team na yan. Tapos meron kang sunod ay nasa baba ay good tools and resources. Dapat anong tools mo? Dapat may greenhouse ka, may biocontrol greenhouse ka, mayroon kang PCR machine, may laboratory ka to do molecular markers, at saka may pera ka and resources. Ang pangatlo ay meron kang germplasm, meron kang paglalaruan, may toys ka. Ito yung mga source ng resistance mo, source ng good yield mo sa germplasm. So itong tatlong na ito, ingredient to develop a desirable commercial varieties and products. So saan ang speed breeding dito? Dito siya sa good tools and resources. So again, speed breeding is only part of the whole breeding process. Para bang meron kang power tools, meron kang power tool na pangkat ng kahoy. Pagpagawa mo ng bahay, kailangan mo talaga yan para mabilis ang pagkat ng kahoy. Pero hindi lang kailangan mo yan. Kailangan mo pa ng martilyo, kailangan mo pa ng kahoy, kailangan mo pa ng pako, kailangan mo pa ng bubong. So, hindi lang yung power tool na meron ka. Dapat meron kang plano at meron kang materials. At may magaling kang builder or architect na mag-develop niyan. Okay? Next slide. Okay, just to give you an idea of the global growth in rice yield. Noong 1970 to 80, ang percent yield per year ay umabot ng mga 2.5% per year. Maganda yon. Kasi mahina pa ang yield noon. Mga 1 ton lang tayo. Ngayon, umabot na tayo ng 2.5% per year. That's very good. Noong 1990 to 2011, biglang 1% lang, less than 1% lang ng yield natin. So we are increasing at decreasing rate. So with the population growth, medyo mahina na tayo. Kaya nag-start na ang speed breeding, molecular biology is there, molecular markers is there, speed breeding, starting ng speed breeding. Kaya medyo tumaas na tayo, almost na mga 1.6% na 2012 to 2022. So that's the encouragement. Kaya ngayon dapat mas speeder pa tayo, mas rapid pa tayo, mas fast track pa tayo. But again, look at the quality, okay? But we need also the agronomist. We need the other machineries, mechanization to post-harvest technology para mag-increase ang yield natin kasi marami ding ma-lessen natin ang post-harvest losses. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. So ito yung just to give you ang comparison ng yield ng rice tsaka corn. Okay? Ang corn, ang rice, tingnan mo steady lang ang yield niya, mga 1% per year lang siya or 1 hanggang 1.2, 1.3%, kaya makita mo yung pula na yan. Straight lang siya. Look at the corn. Ang corn, nung nag-start ang biotech, nagsimulang hybrid tsaka biotechnology, biglang tumaas siya, talagang increase talaga siyang super. Ang rice parang steady lang. So what we need really is to improve the genetic gain ng rice. Dapat ang yield ng rice, rate of yield increase, dapat more than 2%. Kanina pinakita ko sa iyo, 2.5 noong 1970 to 90. Tapos nung 1990 to 2012, naging 1%. Ngayon, umabot ng mga 1.5%. We have to go more than 2 to address climate change, to address overpopulation, to address the need of hunger, even the need of the industry. Next slide. Okay, crop improvement is low. Bakit? Because many crosses but small number of lines per cross. Very, very technical to kaunti. So we have no confidence. Parang shotgun approach tayo, pinag-aasawa lang, tapos pipilian natin. So wala tayong confidence. Dapat pipiliin natin ang right parent, tapos para kaunti lang ang pag-aasawahin natin para madali lang tingnan ang data. Many traits are selected. Marami tayo masyadong trait na gustong yield, quality, pest disease. Ang dami, ang hirap. Dapat 1 at a time or 2 at a time para mas mabilis tayo. Kasi or else, mababag down tayo para kang namimili ng maging asawa mo. Gusto mo maganda, athletic, matalino. Ay parang sinabi mo nang hindi na ako mag-aasawa. Kasi wala akong makitang lahat yan. Dapat ikaw ang magbago, hindi yung magiging asawa mo. So you have to prioritize the trait. Hindi mo makuha lahat yon. Diyos yung hinahanap mo doon or anghel. Eh nandito tayo, you just have to select whatever is the best sa tingin mo at tayo mag-adjust doon. 1 round of recombination. So not enough recombination, dapat magre-recombine pa siya, especially if you are dealing with double haploid. Mamaya sabihin natin yan. So replication natin 3 to 4. Many replication kailangan natin. Kaya 3 to 4 dapat mas much lahat, maraming replication para mas confident tayo, para ang selection intensity is higher. Tapos few lines lang ginagawa natin sa multi-environmental trials. Trait value, average value are used for selection. Pag sabi mong trait, average value ang ginagamit mo, selection is very slow. Dapat, laging sinasabi namin ng mga breeders, select the best, discard the good. Discard the good, select the best. Hindi mo select ang good, dapat yung best lang. Superior lines are usually from only few crosses. So, ibig sabihin, ineffective, sayang yung mga crosses mo. Dapat pagpipiliin mo yung mga magulang. Para tayong si Hitler niyan. Ano yung the best na combination ng mga trait. Para pag nag-asawa sila, magaganda ang maging anak nila. Next, selection for yield and advanced generation only. So, ang breeding cycle natin ay matagal. Kaya dito papasok ang speed breeding. Paano natin mamadaliin? Mamaya masabi natin, ang rice 2 beses lang a year. Pwede pala siya maging 4, pwede maging 5. Okay? Next slide. Okay, now let's go to the speed breeding actually. So, transforming crop breeding, ito yung project namin with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation noon. In a layman terms, we are funded to transform the rice breeding efficiency, making it market-driven, product-oriented breeding program. So, ang aim namin dito, double the genetic gain. Dapat doblehin, dapat mabilis. Double genetic gain. Pangalawa ay increase breeding efficiency. Tapos, targeted products, better adoption. Dapat target ito pang Mindanao, ito pang salt-affected area, ito dapat very specific tayo for better adoption. Hindi yung dapat adapted siya sa lahat. Hindi pwede yon. Adapted siya sa drought, adapted siya sa salinity, adapted siya sa baha. Mahirap yon. Dapat globally competitive siya, dapat mataas ang yield, tapos ang quality niya ay pwedeng ipaglaban, pwedeng pang Miss Universe. Tapos, especially sa rice noon, ang new players natin, yung mga private companies. Kaya increase ang yield natin kasi yung mga new players natin, marami nang nagbebenta ng rice seeds. Noon, walang nagbebenta ng rice seeds kasi inbred siya. So, yun ang ibig sabihin. If you look at the picture, nandun yung mga high-tech niyang computer, cars niya, ang kanyang mga motor, pero ang kanyang infrastructure, bahay kubo lang, walang kuryente masyado, so hindi rin effective. So you have to develop everything. The market, the infrastructure, the team, especially the market. Next slide. Okay, what is speed breeding? Okay, na-introduce ko na kanina, but ang speed breeding, pag ginugol mo siya, AI mo siya, sabi niya a controlled environment. Controlled environment, ma-manipulate mo ang ilaw, tsaka yung photoperiod niya, ang temperature, para mamulaklak siyang mabilis, para makakreate ka ng next generation na mabilis. Hindi mo kailangan na yield dito. Dapat ma-fix mo ang line niya, maging F8 agad siya, or F8 filial generation, para mabilis siya. Ganun siya. Okay? Mabilis. Kumbaga, nagbe-bake ka ng cake, na ilagay lahat ng ingredient, na i-mix mo na agad siya. Okay? So, ang benefit ng speed breeding, mabilisan, ang breeding cycle, shortening the generation time. Faster ang fixation ng kanyang segregation. Quick trait stocking, mas mabilis ma-stock ang mga traits niya, kung ang yield ba, ang tolerance ba sa drought, pest diseases, dapat ganon. Speed breeding manipulates photoperiod, light intensity, temperature, and speed and seed maturity, para instead na 4 to 6 generation a year, magiging isa na lang. Instead of 1, maging 4 to 6 generation. So mabilisan, parang factory ito. So why speed breeding matters? Kasi ito yung bottleneck sa develop ng varieties. Ang bottleneck ay mabilisan. Pag sabi ng farmer, ay biglang mayroon kaming black bug na problem ngayon, ano bang resistance tayo ng black bug dyan? Ay magbe-breed pa tayo. Ay 8 years pa yan, sir. Ay kung speed breeding ka, baka mas mabilis yan. Mapapabilis natin. Instead na 8 years pa yan, baka magiging 2 years na yan, 3 years. Pwede tayong gumawa ng GMO dyan. Pwede tayong gumawa ng gene editing dyan. Use ng markers tayo. Yun ang mga speed. Kailangan nating mabilisan. Kasi impatient na lahat ngayon, lalo na mga generation yun, mabilisan. But like kong sinasabi, good food takes a long time to cook. Kung gusto yung mabilisan, instant noodle. Kung gusto mong masarap talaga, talagang gagawin yung noodles, gagawin yung broth, iluluto siya, dahan-dahan ang luto para maganda ang quality. So modern breeding starts not from lab or field, but the marketplace. Ang ibig sabihin nun, tingnan mo muna saan may market ba ito. Naalala ko when I was with the East West Seed Company, nag-develop sila ng heart-shaped ampalaya. Cute siya, di ba? Heart-shaped ampalaya. Kinomercialize. Ay, kaunti lang bumili kasi gusto lang, ayaw kainin yung heart-shaped ampalaya, gusto lang magpa-picture doon, gusto lang ay cute siyang pang-ornamental, ilang seed ang nabibenta. So, hindi siya maganda. Naawa sila sa heart-shaped ampalaya. Gusto pa rin nila yung mahabang ampalaya. Okay? So, look at the marketplace. Trade are prioritized based on consumers' demand. Ngayon, ayaw natin ng talong na bilog, kasi yun ang original na talong eh. Kaya nga, eggplant parang egg ang original niyan, puti pa. Ang demand natin ng Pilipino, mahaba ang talong. Pag sa ibang bansa, bilog dapat. Okay? So, dapat based on consumers' demand, value chain, and farmers' reality. Maganda nga siya, pero mababa man ang yield, ay ayaw din ng farmer yan. Okay, next slide. Bibilisan natin, speed seminar to. So I just want to share to you, ito isang ginawa namin, transforming rice breeding, redesigning the irrigated rice pipeline ng IRRI. So isa ako sa author dito, ito yung Gates Foundation Development. At ang ginawa namin sa speed breeding dito ay yung rapid generation advance method. Next slide. Ito yung rapid generation advance. So ipagtatanim mo silang dikit-dikit, ilagay mo sa greenhouse, dikit-dikit, yan, 2 months, mamumunga na siya. Sa isang halaman, makakabunga siya ng mga 20 na seeds. Ayos na yun, kasi what you need is only few seeds for the next generation. Maitanim mo agad. So, mabilisan siya. So, yun ang example ng paano siya ini-speed breeding. So, mabilis siyang mapunta sa field. Rapid, they call it Rapid Generation Advance. RGA, mabilisan. Mabilisan ang panganganak, mabilisan ang pagbunga for the next generation. Next slide. So, the other way that I have to mention is double haploid, DH. Ito yung speed breeding talaga. Isang crossing lang, i-double haploid mo siya or interculture, tapos na agad. Hindi yan na-mention ng karamihan. We start the interculture, one interculture. Kinulture mo yung i-double mo siya, yun ang interculture. One of the commonly used method of producing haploid plants in vitro. So, basic step, embryo callus induction, plant regeneration, and chromosome doubling. So, karamihan ito is spontaneous generation. So, ginagawa din namin yan sa corn breeding. Sa corn breeding, double haploid. Kahit mga vegetable breeding, double haploid. That's the easiest way how to do it. Next slide. But you need a lot of investment there. Skills, investment, and I may say luck also. So double haploid method is very important. Useful tool to produce homozygous plants or lines from a generation population. A single generation lang, fix na siya. Sabi ko kanina, 8 generations kung normal, ito isang generation lang, fix na siya. So yung mga desirable genes immediately na-fix siya. Example, barley, reduce breeding varietal development from 12 to 5 years na lang. Ang wheat, nakakasave siya ng 3 to 5 years. So, ito, magsiselect kayo, mabilis ang selection mo dito. Kaya dapat medyo elite na yung lines na i-cross mo dito. Next slide. Especially in hybrid plant development. So, another one that we developed is the first salt-tolerant cultivars or indica intercross. So, ito yung paper na sinulat ko to dedicate sa boss ko nung namatay siya, si Dr. Sinadira. So, I wrote this paper and we were able to develop a variety IR51500-AC11-1. Medyo AC, interculture yun. So, that's the first salt-tolerant variety from indica released as a variety in the whole world. Okay? So, nagiging parental line na to siya. Maganda itong variety no, salt-tolerant, pero alam mo, pinaka-problema nito, ang quality ng rice niya hindi maganda. Kaya nagiging parent na lang siya ngayon. Pero ito yung product ng interculture. Ang bilis. Isang generations lang na-release siya. Next slide. So, ang advantage ay homozygosity is achieved very quickly. Greater selection efficiency, much smaller population is required. Selection of our character controlled by dominant allele is not complicated compared to pedigree method. So, mabilisan siya. Next slide. Yun. Disadvantage naman niya ay no opportunity for phenotypic selection. Required investment, specialized equipment, and skilled personnel. Tapos, problema naman dito ay unpredictability of frequency of haploid. Kaya ang medyo 2%, 5%, ngayon umabot na ng 12 to 15%, which is very good. Next slide. So, medyo nag-emphasize ako ng double hybrid technology kasi nawawala na ito. Pero ito yung ginagamit sa private sector. Especially if you're in the government sector, if you want to make it fast, like what happened in the private sector, you need a DET technology, accelerated product development. Okay? Next slide. Rapid genetic gain. As I'm talking all of these things, ito yung biotechnology, hindi na ako nagawa ng GMO dito, but ito yung learning natin sa agri-biotechnology. Modern biotechnology is changing very fast. Agri-biotech is empowering drivers of well-directed change to meet human needs. So, maganda yan. Agri-biotechnology are the powerful tool, parang power tool sila or laser gadget to keep food production in step with modern demands. Yun ang mga sinasabi. Isa pa, fast tracking the agricultural product delivery for human needs and luxury. Hindi lang needs natin, pati yung luxury natin, pampaganda ba siya o haba ng buhay. Pero, as I mentioned, agri-biotechnology, like speed breeding, is like politicians during campaign period. Marami silang promises. Maraming promise. Hindi siya ganun ka-quick actually. Kasi may market-driven ka pa. May multi-locational trial ka pa. Hindi mo pwedeng i-speed yan. Therefore, we have to be responsible and realistic in showing the potential of the speed breeding technology. Yan ang warning ko sa lahat. Hindi ganun ka. Parang nanood ka lang ng mga movies na biotechnology, parang ang bilis. Hindi. Talagang super pag-aaral niyan. Next slide. Okay, parang ganun ang promise ng biotechnology. Parang, ayan, makakuha ka ng bus. Nandyan lagad ng salt tolerance mo. Punta ka bang Bagabag, punta kang Solano, pwedeng drought tolerance, disease resistance, nandun ang high yield. Ganyan ang lumalabas, ganyan hitsura ng iyong car, ng iyong plant. Para kang, anong ibig sabihin yan? Para kang parang bus na unstable. Actually, lumilindol dito sa amin kaunti. Ewan ko kung lumilindol sa inyo. Kaya baka matumba tong truck na pinapakita. Okay, natapos na ang lindol. May short lindol sa amin dito sa Lawag City. Okay, tuloy lang tayo. So, ganyan ang itsura ng mga... If you are not careful with fast, stability naman ang problema mo. Okay, next slide. So what I'll be doing is the stages in modern crop breeding program where I have to look at the market and the product and the speed breeding dito. So una, i-review the existing breeding program ninyo. Second, develop crop master plan to include breeding strategies. Nandun yung market intelligence nyo, determine the immediate, intermediate, and future varieties na gusto nyo i-develop. Market-driven product-oriented breeding program. Dapat may market. Ano ang demand ng market? At ano ang product na gusto mong i-develop? And prioritize mo ang mga strategies dito. Okay? Establish an integrated breeding platforms towards speeding genetic gain. So, dito na papasok sa pangatlo. Anong breeding program ang gamitin mo? Double haploid ka ba? Pedigree method ka ba? Or GMO bang gagamitin mo? Or rapid generation advanced facility bang gagamitin mo? The like. Then, engage a team of effective communication to ensure implementation. Dapat mag-communicate kayo sa isang team. Hindi yung, kasi it's teamwork to, iba-ibang discipline. Dapat nagkakaintindihan kayo. Or else, iba-iba ang direction ng pinupuntahan nyo. Hindi kayo makabuo ng inyong produkto. Next slide. Bilisan natin ng konti kasi speed breeding tayo. So, una, implementing modern breeding program. One, evaluation and review the existing or current crop breeding program. Tingnan muna ang breeding pipelines nyo per market segment. Tingnan mo yung market analysis of by mga product segment mo. Tingnan mo ang germplasm mo. Tingnan mo ang trait discovery, ano mga source ng tolerance mo. Ano ba mga pre-breeding activities doon, database management. Sorry sa mga hindi nakakaintindi sa mga breeding kasi ito yung mga nitty-gritty. Database management, breeding priorities and strategies, assessing the current investment, facilities, testing sites, and staffing, varietal replacement situation. Gusto mo ba every 2 years magbago ang variety or 5 years? Commercial and partner breeding. They have to look at other partners ng breeding program. Next slide. Okay, so pangalawa, develop crop master plan to include breeding strategies. Dapat may plano ka. Okay? Makita mong strength, weaknesses, and opportunity and threats, analysis by segment ng iyong product. Crop strategy, focus on market segment and projected deployment of products, partners, and market. So look at ano ang market at paano ang style mo. Paano mo i-disseminate siya. Paano mo siya i-package, paano mo siya i-promote. Dapat you have to talk with your sales, you have to talk with your marketing, at saka branding. Importante dito. Okay? Isang seminar ulit to eh. Next slide. Then ito yung example ng product profile. Ito yung sa Erie when I was there. So may product profile. Ano bang aim mo? Example, mid-lowland ecosystem. Ito yung 6 to 8 million hectares daw ang target mo. Ito ang target region mo. Sa India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, sa areas na yon. Ano ang mass rate mo? Ito yung aim mo. Yield mo ay 4 tons per hectare. Dapat 10% more than better than the existing varieties doon. Dapat ang yield niya ay, ang win rate mo ay 5 tons. Dapat mas mataas sa existing varieties. Dapat may win rate siya, dapat may drought tolerance siya, may drought for submergence, drought for salinity, submergence for salinity, submergence, bacterial blight, high head rise recovery, medium grain. So nandun yung lahat, ang mga plano mo, mga panaginip mo, mga aspiration mo ng variety. Ano bang range trait niya? Dapat ang amylose niya, ang pagkamalagkit niya ay 22 to 24. O kaya sa high naman, sa Bangladesh, gusto nila medyo matigas, 25 to 27. Ang duration niya, 120 to 150 days. May height siya, dapat ganito, hindi masyado mataas. May lodging resistance siya, may medium long grain siya. Ang value addition niya, dapat 15% more. Ang wish mo, dapat may heat tolerance at reproductive stage, may heat sa lugar na yon, may phosphorus and zinc deficiency tolerance, may cold tolerance, at saka mga diseases. Ito yung plano mo. Dapat meron kang nakalagay yan sa wall mo siguro para ito yung dream na ma-develop mong variety. Dahan-dahan. Next slide. Then how to implement, develop master plan, nasabi ko na yan, strength, crop breeding strategy, breeding product development strategy naman. Breeding products, ito ay breeding strategy for target market segment. Pang Bangladesh ba yan? Pang India ba yan? Ano bang cook kailangan nila doon? Parboiled ba siya? Brown rice ba siya? So, yun ang kailangan natin. Next slide. So, dapat may mga product development strategy ka. Example nung corn ko noon, ang immediate product ay market-driven. Ano bang yung marketable yield? Ano bang biotic stress tolerance niya? Ano bang eating quality kailangan mo? Dapat may intermediate products, immediate products ka, or hindi immediate, medyo medium term siya para ma-expand mo ang scale out mo palalo, abiotic stress tolerance, high density planting varieties, nutritious and low glycemic index varieties. Kung future mo, ito yung gusto ng mga consumers in the future, low carbon footprint varieties, multiple color varieties, baka yung every grain ay iba-ibang vitamins ang nakalagay doon, iba-ibang color, ibang trait doon. Next slide. Then after that, ito na yung sourcing and releasing strategy to fill the production gap. Ano, may partners ka with the industry, partners with the sales, seed production strategy. Kasi minsan, maganda yung variety mo, pero ang seed production niya ay problema. Especially if you're dealing with hybrid. Overcoming the seed logistics constraints and regulatory issues, especially if you're dealing with GMO. Next slide. Establish integrated breeding platforms. Dito na yung speed breeding yan. So, dapat mayroon tayong crop breeding team na may biotech, bioinformatics, quality sensor unit, plant pathology, entom agronomy. Tsaka may automation, tsaka mechanization ka. May stage gate approach ka. RGA is rapid generation advance. Meron kang single seed descent or double haploid. Dito na yung mabilisan. Genomic selection strategy. Optimizing genomic selection procedure. Tapos ito yung pinakabago ngayon, implementing the genomic selection through research management approach. Then nandun ang gene editing and collaboration with other partners, especially in the industry. Next slide. Bilisan pa natin. Okay, ito yung stage gate approach. I will not go to the details of that, pero dapat meron kang process. Next slide. Ito yung the genomic selection approach. So you could have the genomic selection. Importante dito ay mapipredict mo ang next generation by having training population. This is another 2 hours lecture. But you could integrate CRISPR-Cas dito to targeted recombination. Genome-wide marker effects recombination potentially doubles the rate of yield gains. So ito yung mga bagong approaches na ginagamit natin, which I'll be going to the detail mamaya. Next slide. Yan, ito yung conventional breeding natin. May cross ka, mag-generate advance ka, 6,000 population, tapos mag-yield ka ng 6,000 na ang lines mo, ang dami, ang laking area ang kailangan mo dyan. But with breeding with genomic selection, meron kang kukunin lang ng part doon ng 3,000 para ma-predict niya ang yield. May training population ka to predict the whole yield. I will not go to the details of that. But this is one of the speed breeding na ginagawa ngayon. You use markers, few lines, and it will predict the performance of the lines using the trained population. Next slide. Then engage a crop breeding team. This is the most important. Interdisciplinary siya. Research management approach, identifying and analyzing the problem, including the market people, the marketing people, and the sales people, identifying impact to stakeholders, proposing project that will implement modern crop breeding program, then communicate. You have to talk palagi sa mga bagay na ito sa kanila para iisa ang linya nyo. Communication is very important. Dapat may communication guided kayo sa team. Next slide. Again, we have engaged from evaluation to develop master plan, establish integrated breeding program, then engaging a team for effective communication and an effective communication to ensure sustainable implementation. So, yan ang ibig sabihin dyan ay ang speed breeding ay part lang ng buong breeding program na gagawin nyo. Next slide. I think this is my last slide. So, I'll just show you my last 2 slides dito. I have a project with the Bill Gates Foundation where Gates visited us in 2015 sa Erie. So, makita mo dito ang sa left side, dalawa lang yung bodyguard niyan dala dito, and this is the Director General ng Erie. So, I'm explaining to him the progress of our they call it STRASA, Stress Tolerant Rice for Africa and South Asia. So I was able to talk to him for 45 minutes and na-convince ko siyang konti kasi genetics pinag-usapan namin, hindi about computers. Next slide. Again, overall, I may say the reality of genomics in agriculture or speed breeding agriculture is won or lost at the farmers and the consumer level, where its applicability and sustainability is tested. Ultimately, ang speed breeding ay makikita ng ating mga ka-farmer. Kung makita nilang maganda yan, kukunin nila yan. Hindi mo sabihin, speed breeding ginamit ko doon, conventional breeding, importante sa nila, maganda at tugma sa gusto nila. So our farmers are our main consumer at saka sila mag-ultimate evaluator ng ating mga produkto. Again, I think that's my last slide. Thank you very much. Ito may poem lang na in the 1919, The Shattered Dream of a Corn Breeder. Thank you. Balik sa iyo, Jello. Thank you very much at sana may nakaintindi sa mga sinasabi ko ng kaunti.
Ayan, thank you very much for the very comprehensive and engaging presentation, Dr. Glenn. Surely, tulad nga nung sinabi mo, definitely yung mga viewers po natin become more interested with this speed breeding, yung topic nga natin. And probably, kasi nga ilan sa ating mga viewers ay actually agri-fisheries researchers, probably this opened new ideas or research interest, or possibly kung nag-undergo sila ng mga ongoing na mga R4D projects in the agri-fisheries ay baka ma-incorporate nila ito, baka isa ito sa mga aspeto na kailangan i-consider para nga in a larger scale ay matulungan po natin yung agriculture sector ng ating bansa. But before that, may I invite our viewers and participants to please click on our reaction naman to appreciate yung presentation ni Dr. Glenn, the generous presentation yet very engaging. In fact, we have a comment, we will be showing it. So habang umiinom ng tubig si Dr. Glenn, ay magbasa muna tayo ng ating mga greetings. Okay, so a greeting and a commendation from Josephine Tolentino Garcia. Hello, Sir Glenn. Thanks for discussing the topic in layman's language. In fact, ito nga yung gusto ni Doc Glenn kanina na nagpe-prepare kami for this presentation, maging inviting siya at maging comprehensive and engaging at the same time sa ating mga viewers. So thank you, Ma'am Josephine. Let's have another greeting habang nagpapahinga muna for a while si Doc Glenn. Ayan, from Sir Mark Kevin, good morning po. I am watching from ISU San Mariano. Ayan, another greeting naman from the Central Luzon State University. Good morning po. That's from Ma'am Leila Santa Maria Valdedara. Good morning po sa ating mga kasamahan dyan sa CLSU. Ayan, good morning. I'm watching from Beijing, China. That's from Sir Apatens Gardener. Wow, so kanina, I would like to correct my spiel. Sabi ko kanina, we are just being watched nationwide, sir. With this greeting pala, we're even watched sa China. Ayan. And let's have one last greeting siguro. Meron pa ba? Ayan, so siguro let me take this, ayan. Okay, nabasa na natin to. So, dun po sa mga ibang viewers po natin, feel free to drop your comments and your commendations, especially for Dr. Glenn for his presentation. So, before we proceed to another exciting part of this special seminar is, invite ko muna yung mga viewers natin to please fill out this time yung feedback form naman po natin through the link that you can see in the comment section. By the way, kanina as I was scanning yung comment section natin, there were some queries regarding the attendance na hindi ma-access. In that case po, baka pwedeng paki-refresh or reload lang yung ating mga search engines. Tapos, in case po talaga na hindi ma-access, we will be updating the link. If it's really not accessible, let's just scan the comment section. So at this time po, fill out naman po yung feedback form natin. Ayan, so another greeting from Ma'am Manilyn Makuray. Good morning po from DACVRC Corn Breeding Team. Ayan, so may watch party po sila sa DACVRC and probably to our other viewers po. Sige. Dr. Glenn, ready ka na po for several questions that we have?
Yes, I'm excited sa mga question nila kasi hindi ko alam kung tugma ba yung mga question about speed breeding, but with their question, we could answer more. So go tayo.
Okay, yes. Maybe we can just try to give them an idea, if not specifically really answering their questions kasi yung iba talaga sobrang broad yung tanong. Anyway, let's see po. Okay, let's have the first question. Ayan, so we have one question from Ma'am Joyce Ann Manuel. Is it okay to use existing OPVs for crop improvement? Dr. Glenn?
Kaya mo yung mga jargon na yan, Jello, intindihin. Open
medyo naman, sir. Opo.
Pag sabi mong existing OPV, nandun na yung mass selection na pwede kang gumawa ng mass selection dyan. But kung open pollinated, you're talking about corn breeding yan, you do mass selection naman dyan. But don't select too much. Pwede mo pag-cross mga all open pollinated varieties. Pwede kang gumawa ng a new open pollinated variety niyan. But you have to maintain the diversity for crop improvement. So this is commonly used, especially if you are wala kang laboratory, maghilig lang sa field talaga. I think this is a very effective, especially yung mga traditional varieties natin. This is very good, especially sa organic farming. Maganda yung open pollinated varieties natin. But ngayon kasi karamihan hybrid na talaga kasi uniform siya at saka very high yielding. So, yun lang ang new na hybrid ang kalaban ng OPB. Pero if you are using low input, especially organic, I recommend you have to do the OPB. But again, existing OPB varieties, you could do mass selection and develop a new OPB. Kaya dapat nga sa farmer natin, pag OPB ang mga varieties, OPB ang variety mo, unang gawin mo before the harvest itself, ikaw unang mag-harvest para pang seeds mo. Select the best. Among that, i-bulk mo siya, tapos that i-save mo siya, yan ang next generation mo para nag-improve ang kayong OPB population mo. Thank you. Rinig pa rin ba ako? O nag-freeze tayo? Hello, Jello. Okay, may technical difficulties kaunti.
And hi, Dr. Glenn. Thank you. Can
Yes,
you hear
yes.
Ayan, so let's now proceed to the next question. By the way, thank you for addressing that question, sir. Medyo naglalag lang po ako. So let's now have next question. Ayan. Siguro we can proceed to question number 1, Sir Jim. Dun sa matrix natin. Okay, wait lang po as we are flashing the question po. Ayan, so as we are waiting for the question to be shown po, we are inviting our viewers if they still have queries, let's take advantage of this opportunity para matanong natin yung ating expert. Definitely an expert in this particular field. Ayan, so wala pa din yung question natin. Siguro basahin ko muna siya habang hindi pa napapakita, sir. Ang tanong ay, ito po bang speed breeding ay pwedeng i-incorporate, sir? Or pwedeng ito na. Ayan. Among the screening protocols or checklist po, sir, na pinakita natin kanina, bagay yung checklist before we can consider kung ano yung breeding method ang pwede natin gamitin. What seems to be the most important daw po for rice and corn practically? At how does this particular technique or what specific techniques under the breeding the speeding of this particular technology addresses itong mga specific or most dominant na problema, in particular sa rice and corn?
Depende sa trait mo eh. Depende sa trait. Kaya ang daming listahan dito para kang doktor eh. Paano mo siya gagamutin? Gusto mong mabilisan, gamot ang bigay mo o ida-diet mo siya o exercise ang kailangan or so titingnan mo yung whole condition na yan. So sa question, among the screening protocols or checklist, what seems to be the most important for rice and corn practically? Hindi ko makuha masyado ang question. So it depends upon the trait. But if sample yield ang kailangan mo, I think double haploid sa akin ang the most practical kasi ang bilis, tissue culture lang yung kailangan mo, mag-double haploid ka, mabilis kang maka-develop, which hindi masyado ginagamit sa rice. But sa corn, lahat, I may say, most of the varieties are from double haploid. Karamihan ay double haploid ang i-engage. Especially the private industry, double haploid ang kanilang way to especially the yield part.
Ayan, thank you, Dr. Glenn. Siguro another important thing that we should highlight ay yun nga, katulad ng sinabi mo, sir, ay ang daming factors na kailangan i-consider. At katulad din ng sinabi mo kanina, it was really emphasized through your presentation na hindi naman ito yung parang nagsaing ka lang sa rice cooker, marami ding proseso. The process is rigorous. Pero but then, yun nga, kapag malinaw yung factor na gusto mo talaga i-address, for example, if it's disease resiliency, or resilience rather, or probably gusto mo yung mapataas yung yield niya, then alam mo dapat, and through this checklist or protocol, malalaman mo kung anong technique in particular yung pwede mong gamitin. Now, this leads me to another question, sir, from Ma'am Juneline B. Ravelo Arquero. I hope I pronounced her name properly. Hello po, Doc Glenn. You've mentioned earlier yung tungkol po sa pag-develop ng drought-tolerant crops. Ano po kayang pwedeng gawing strategy or strategies if we are planning to breed OPV or open-pollinated variety ng white corn varieties which are tolerant to drought po?
Siyempre, ang unang gagawin mo ay hanap ko muna ng source ng tolerance. Dapat meron kang pagmamanahan. Example, yung OPB mo, ang variety corn ngayon ay hindi ka satisfied ng kanyang drought tolerance. Hanap ko muna kahit low yielding siya. Basta drought tolerant siya. Yun mag-develop ka ng new OPB, ihalo mo siya dito sa OPB white corn mo na pwede siya maging drought o tinigib ba siya or other variety siya or field corn siya na ihalo mo siya, isama mo siya doon, then develop a new OPB variety. So, maglagay ka ng drought tolerance sa iyong population. Ganun lang kasimple yan. But I may say, mahirap makahanap ng drought tolerant na corn. So, I may suggest, even the moderate, pag pinag-asawa mo yung moderate sa modern, pwede pa siyang mag-develop ng better tolerance sa moderate. So, importante magre-recombine yan sila kasi may mga genes na nagsa-silence lang. Pwede mo siyang pag-cross mo, maraming panalangin na lumitaw yung best combination ay lilitaw siya. Kagaya na, just to give an example, nagde-develop sila ng black tulip. Wala namang black tulip eh. Nahirapan sila mag-develop. Wala silang nakitang source ng black. Wala. Pero nung krinos nila yung blue, dark blue, tsaka dark red, nakaproduce sila ng medyo very dark na nagiging black tulip siya. So, ang ibig sabihin, moderate by moderate, makadevelop ka ng very drought tolerant, which that's my experience also in developing salt tolerant varieties. The most salt tolerant variety ay hindi galing sa very salt tolerant variety source or parent, but yung moderate, makadevelop ka ng better. Okay? Para bang may mga anak tayong Miss Universe na mga anak ng Miss Universe. Hindi naman kagwapuhan yung taga-foreigner na yan. Hindi naman kagandahan yung Pilipinang napangasawa niya. Pero yung anak, perfect. So may recombination silang maganda. So that's the encouragement.
Salamat, Doc Glenn. Another question. We have last two questions, Doc. This question is from Carl Sean Margate. And is there anything advanced breeding method in the field of rice breeding we could employ aside from incorporating rapid generation advance? Thank you, Doc Glenn.
ito yung sinasabi kong double haploid. Medyo bias ako dito kasi pero nawala siya eh. Ang iba nawala sila kasi mabilis siya pero kailangan mo ng medyo ang regeneration niya recalcitrant kasi ang rice medyo 5% lang siya, 2% lang siya ang nare-regenerate siya but nakaka-produce siyang mabilis. Pero pag dinevelop mo siya, ang protocol nito ma-increase mo siya ng 12, 15, 20% like what happened in corn. Over time nag-increase ang regeneration niya. This is the best case sa rapid generation. So, instead na isang generation lang, fix na agad siya. This is the technique ng private sector. So if you're in the private sector, public sector, kopyahin natin ano yung ginagawa nila at i-improve natin, especially sa so rapid generation advance better is of course i-rapid mo pa yung rapid generation advance kasi ang rapid generation advance sa rice makaya niyang 4 generation. Pwede mong 5 generation. Paano? Una, baka yung hard dough stage pa lang ng rice, basta ma-embrace siya, pwede mo siyang itanim agad o hindi mo na kailangang i-hard dough siya. Soft dough pa lang siya, basta ma-embryo, baka pwede kang mag-embryo rescue doon, maka-generate ka na, makasave ka ng 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks sa rice na yan. So, instead na 4 generations or 6 generations a year, baka kaya mo ng 8 generations a year. So, sabi mo, quick rapid generation advance ang gagawin mo. So, ma-manipulate mo siya. So, ganun lang yun. But double haploid ang sabi kong magandang i-employ dyan.
Ayan, thank you, Doc Glenn. Next question po natin is from Irene Irina. Ayan, Doc, how about clonal crop breeding? What factors are needed to be considered in the selection process?
Actually, ang tawag dyan is somaclonal variation breeding. Somaclonal variation. So, hindi mo kailangang i-breed siya or pwede mong i-breed siya but i-mutate mo siya sa culture. May mga mutation siya. Parang mutation din siya ang tawag niyan. Kino-clone mo siya, the same trait pa rin yung variety. Halimbawa, ilagay mo lang yung aroma. Magbaka sakali ka, medyo taasan mo concentration ng mutagen doon sa pag-tissue culture mo sa kanya. Then makaroon ka ng somaclonal variation. Like to give you an example, we have Pukali as a salt-tolerant rice. Matangkad siya. Matangkad, pula ang grain niya, tapos photoperiod sensitive. Ginamitan namin ng somaclonal variation. Clinone namin siya, tapos nilagyan ng mutagen doon. Napa-shorten namin ang Pukali at saka ang grain niya naging white pa siya. So, yun ang example ng somaclonal variation. Anong factors na i-consider mo dito? Kung mga traits niya ay plant height, grain color, pwede mo siyang gamitin. Pero kung yield, pahirapan tayo, hindi na kayang, medyo multi-gene ang kailangan mo doon. Itong mga trait kasi ng color, mga single gene to, kaya madali siyang i-knock down or i-silence. So, that's my quick answer sa kay Irene.
Yan, ako napakapalad po ng yung mga viewers natin, ano. They can have a quick and comprehensive answers to their question. Now, let's have the last question na po, and this is from Sir Mark Kevin. So, I understand siguro yung previous questions natin, these are from researchers, ano. Now, this question is, hello po, Doc, itong speed breeding, posible po ba itong gawin ng ordinaryong farmer na katulad niya? Or di naman po kaya siguro, susugan po natin yung tanong, paano kaya posibleng makinabang, if we can give a picture sa ating mga farmers, paano sila posibleng mag-benefit dito sa ganitong klase ng technology?
Una, ang benefit nyo ay mas mabilis ma-release ang variety, maging available na sa inyo for your consideration. Ang pangalawa naman yan, posible bang gawin ng ordinary farmer? Pwede naman, but hindi mo kailangan mag-RGA. Pwede mo namang, ang sa akin, if you're a farmer, the best is sa field mo, halimbawa, ordinary farmer lang tayo, kagaya ko. Sa field ko, kagaya ng kahapon, nag-harvest kami. Kanina, actually ngayon, nag-harvest kami ng palay. Inbred yung variety ko nandoon. Makasani yung variety ko na dinevelop ko. Ang unang gawin ko, 2 days before, I asked my staff, yung technician ko, ay mag-harvest ka na ng 3 sako dyan. Unahin ka na harvest. So he will harvest the best plant doon at inlagay sa isang sako. Tapos yun ang pineserve ko for the next harvest ko. Unlike sa isang farmer kasi, kung hindi siya bibili ay aani lang siya sa inani lahat, tapos kung anong sako, pag taniman na, kukuha na ulit siya ng 2 sako doon sa kanyang inaning marami, ay halo-halo yon. Dapat mas na-select mo yung best muna, yung unang mga magagandang hitsura, magagandang one, yun ang ini-reserve mong seed for the next generation. So, pwede yun maging yung tawag na mass selection yun. May selection na rin ang ginagawa ng ordinary farmer. Pero ang pakinabang mo ay yung mga produkto ng mga researchers ay available agad. Instead na 8 years, baka 4 years pwede na yan. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc Glenn. At siguro, in connection dun sa tanong ni Sir Mark Kevin, that's when partnership and collaboration come into play. Specifically, alam natin na may mga agencies, ang DA, sa DA po, na pwedeng direktang makatulong po sa ating mga farmers. And another thing, katulad ng paksa po natin ngayong umaga, marami ng readily available na technology across different commodities na kailangan po siguro matutunan ng ating mga kaibigang magsasaka para nga ma-overcome, ma-address yung mga challenges na kinakaharap nila sa kanilang pagpo-produce ng kung anong variety or kung anong commodity yung kanilang pinoproduce. We only have longer time, ay siguradong mas marami pang ma-share si Doc Glenn. Kaya lang, sadly, we have to cut yung ating Q&A. So, Doc Glenn, I would like to end po sana with this Q&A with 2 questions. Una, sir, what would be your inspiring words of inspiration una sa ating mga partners na researchers? In general, sir.
Okay, sa mga researchers. So, una ay, as a researcher, you have to don't be too engrossed na mabilisan. Okay? Be patient. As I always say, good food takes a long time to cook. So, speed breeding is just a tool towards a win breeding, which is you include the market. You have to understand the market. You have to work with a team. I think yun ang do what you could do, but at the same time, look what's the impact. Okay? Ang lagi ko nga sinasabi, impact start with I. Impact start with I'm. It begins with I and ends with act, which is action towards our farmers. But the most important is P sa gitna, which is partnership. So, para always, if you are a researcher, always look for impact. Always look for mapakinabangan na ito ng ating mga magsasaka. And always remember, ito lang sinasabi ko rin, Jello, ay the heartbeat of a food-secure country, the heartbeat of a country can be seen in the faces of our farmers. Di ba? The happier our farmers faces, the more food secure is our country. So, yun lang indicator natin. Pag nakangiti sila, ang ibig sabihin, we are a food secure country.
Ako, thank you very much for those inspiring and motivational words. Talagang kailangan po natin pagsigasigan pa yung artificially R4D dahil yun nga, katulad ng sinabi mo, Doc, ay kailangan makita natin sa mukha ng ating mga magigiting at mahal na magsasaka at mangingisda yung resulta ba nung netong mga pinaghihirapan po ng mga researchers na kagaya ninyo. Now, this leads me to the last part of the Q&A. Doc, para naman sa ating mga farmers and fisher folk siguro in general, mga kasamahan natin na nandun talaga sa field, what would be your words of encouragement for them?
Yeah, kagaya ng mga researcher, be patient kasi ang pag-develop ng variety, hindi yung pasimento mo yung kalsada ko, pwedeng bukas gagawin yan. Talagang pinag-iisipan yan. nagdi-deal tayo sa mga biological being, medyo mahirap hindi yung papagawa ko ng bahay, magagawa yan ng gawa pa yan. Pero ito biological being, pinagko-cross pa yan, pinagpipilian pa yan, bubuhayin mo yan. Ilang cycle sila bago but ina-address na to ng speed breeding. At sana counting pasensya lang at we will give it to you. The most important is talk to the researchers. Ano ang gusto nyo? Ano ang gusto nyo? Kasi yun ang i-develop nila. Kasi minsan marami sa mga researchers namin na naginip lang kami kung ano ang gusto ng farmers. So you have to voice out ano ang gusto nyo para makuha namin. Kasi pag gusto namin, para bang si Indrelito, gusto namin happy kayo. I think that's the ultimate desire ng aming mga researcher ay nagamit nyo ang mga varieties namin at maging happy kayo para maging food secure ang ating country din. Thank you.
Ayan, and which brings us back doon sa sinabi mong importante sa impact kanina, Doc Glenn, yung P, yung partnership.
Yeah.
So, yan. So, muli maraming salamat po, Dr. Glenn B. Gregorio. And I am inviting our viewers and participants to please press those reaction buttons naman for us to show our appreciation doon sa presentation at doon sa mga responses ni Dr. Glenn sa ating mga queries just a while ago. Ayan. So muli po, Dr. Glenn B. Gregorio, maraming salamat po. Now, in behalf of the DA Bureau of Agricultural Research, we would like to award the Certificate of Appreciation. In the meantime, virtually, pero kung paano man kami makakapunta dyan, we will hand this over to you po. So let me read the citation of the certificate. The DA Bureau of Agricultural Research awards the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Glenn B. Gregorio for sharing his invaluable knowledge during the DA Bar online seminar series titled Fast Track Breeding, Accelerating Crop Improvement Through Speed Breeding, held today, 27th of November 2025 via StreamYard and the DA Bar's official Facebook page. So given virtually today, 27th of November. So, ayan, we will do our best po, Doc, to hand this over to you.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat, sir. Kung meron pa po kayong gustong pasalamatan or i-acknowledge, Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, thank you at sa initiative ng DA Bar kasi mahirap na topic ito at sana mga farmers ay narinig nyo rin ang paano ginagamit itong powerfuls na ito. At the same time, DA Bar din. I know when I was with IRI, kayo nagsuportan yung kami namin na next generation varieties which we use the speed breeding to attain ang deliverables namin, yung next generation variety which I was very much involved at finandan ito ng DA Bar. Thank you, DA Bar.
And of course, it is our privilege to always partner and work with you and with all our very, very much dedicated and committed R4D agri-fishery researchers. Muli, maraming salamat po, Dr. Glenn B. Gregorio. And before we officially end our special online seminar, of course, we also would like to acknowledge yung ating ARIA. Maraming salamat po for co-sponsoring this special online seminar with the DA Bureau of Agricultural Research. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga kasamahan dyan sa ARIA. Maraming salamat din po sa ating lahat, sa lahat po ng ating mga viewers. At patuloy po ninyong subaybayan, i-follow po ninyo ang aming official FB page. That's Bureau of Agricultural Research. Pwede nyo pong i-share itong live stream na ito. Ito rin po ay mapapanood ninyo sa official YouTube account ng Bureau of Agricultural Research. That's DA Bar Official. At yun nga, isa lang po ito sa mga teknolohiya na amin pong itinatampok. So marami po tayong mga R4D technologies in agri-fisheries. Marami po tayong mga materials, meron tayong infographics, so on and so forth. So patuloy po ninyong abangan at nawa ay kapulutan po ninyo ng impormasyon, yung amin pong mga ginagawa at pinopost dito sa aming mga social media accounts. Alright, maraming salamat po. At dito po nagtatapos ang ating special online seminar for the month of November. Muli, maraming salamat. Huwag po ninyong kalimutang i-submit ang inyong mga feedback and attendance form. So there we have it. Muli, maraming salamat, Dr. Glenn. At sa lahat po ng ating mga viewers, at dito po nagtatapos ang ating online seminar series. This has been your host, Jello, wishing you all a good day and God bless.
Thank you.
Salamat po, Dr.
The rising global population threatens food security, as the increased demand for food puts pressure on our agricultural resources and production systems. This increased demand intensifies problems like land degradation, water scarcity, climate change, and competition for arable land, making it harder to provide nutritious food for everyone, especially in areas already experiencing food insecurity. Focusing on innovative technologies and sustainable agricultural practices, these challenges can become valuable opportunities that can drive economic growth and technological advancement. Research for Development, or R4D, plays a pivotal role in addressing the challenge of food security. In the Philippines, an organization is emphasizing the transformative power of technology to drive the sector towards its optimal potential through Research for Development, or R4D. The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, or DA-BAR. Supported by various executive orders and Republic Act 8435, also known as Agri-Fisheries Modernization Act, or AFMA, DA-BAR is mandated to ensure that all agricultural research is coordinated and undertaken for maximum utility to agriculture. DA-BAR coordinates, integrates, funds and manages the R4D system in the country to optimize its use for the sector. It is envisioned to be the lead R4D coordinating agency, promoting a technology-empowered agriculture and fisheries sector that contributes to inclusive growth. To ensure that research leads to desired results and long-term impacts, DA-BAR follows the R4D Impact Pathway Framework. It assists DA-BAR in planning, monitoring, and evaluating the effectiveness of R4D projects under rice, corn and cassava, livestock and poultry, fisheries and aquaculture, organic agriculture, climate change, biotechnology, support to technology commercialization, agri-fisheries technology business incubation, and scale-up, thereby connecting research outputs to outcomes and societal impact, aligning efforts with industry goals, and generating meaningful, measurable change. It is DA-BAR's responsibility to ensure that suitable technologies and interventions are promptly accessible for the sector's utilization. However, DA-BAR cannot accomplish this alone. It needs capable partners in cascading these R4D outputs and outcomes that will advance technology-driven agriculture and fisheries sector. Collaboration is the backbone of research, and seamless integration of interdisciplinary expertise and resources is crucial for achieving common goals. By partnering with DA-BAR, we attain greater productivity in a cost-effective manner. Like the age-old adage, the sum is greater than its parts. Here at DA-BAR, we firmly believe that the power of collaboration has the potential to unleash a magnitude of possibilities beyond measure. We offer funding opportunities that can substantially improve the effectiveness and breadth of research endeavors. We facilitate networks and linkages to enhance opportunities to leverage expertise and resources. And more significantly, we serve as a hub for invaluable knowledge exchange, harnessing emerging and innovative technologies to tackle pressing sectoral challenges and global issues.